Am I overreacting to ending a friendship due to her constant messaging my husband and sending him memes? I never thought I would find myself in this situation, but here we are. For context, I've been friends with Sarah, 30F, for a few years. We've been through a lot together, and I considered her one of my closest friends. However, recently, something happened that I couldn't ignore. Over the past few months, Sarah has gotten close with my husband, and I was pretty much okay with us all hiking and eating out together. She came to our wedding, etc. However, all hours of the day, Sarah has been sending my husband, 28 Mem, a ton of messages and memes. At first, I didn't think much of it. My husband and I are both friendly people, and I know Sarah has a good sense of humor. But the frequency and nature of the messages started to make me uncomfortable. They weren't just occasional funny memes. It felt like she was constantly reaching out to him. I tried to brush it off, thinking maybe I was overreacting, but the feeling persisted. I eventually talked to my husband about it, and while he assured me there was nothing going on, he got defensive, saying nothing is going on. I allowed them to still hang out, and I tried my hardest to not seem crazy. But yes, I feel crazy. So I decided to finally talk to Sarah. I approached her calmly and explained how her constant messaging made me feel uncomfortable. I used I statements to avoid sounding accusatory and tried to be as understanding as possible. Instead of understanding or apologizing, she got defensive. She insisted that it was harmless and that I was being ridiculous. The conversation didn't go well, and shortly after she blocked me on all social media. I was shocked and hurt. I never wanted to end our friendship over this, but I felt disrespected and ignored. I'm feeling a mix of emotions right now. On one hand, I feel justified in setting boundaries and protecting my marriage. On the other hand, I'm mourning the loss of a longtime friend. Has anyone else experienced something similar? How did you handle it? Any advice or perspective would be greatly appreciated. Edit 1. A good friend of mine checked his social media and Sarah's. Looks like Sarah blocked my husband as well. Phew. Edit 2. My husband and I agreed to marital counseling. If this fails, I'm divorcing him, pregnant or not. The update. Hello everyone. I'm sorry for the sudden post removal yesterday. My post had violated a rule on this subreddit, and for that, I'm sorry if anyone was in the middle of reading it. However, I wanted to share an update with you all about how my talk with my husband went, and I took your advice into consideration to have a discussion with him. When he got off work, he called me, and we immediately didn't have a good start to the conversation. My husband thinks I'm jealous because he said it's not infidelity for her to send him memes and messages once in a while. He said he never saw Sarah in that light, and that he just really liked her just as a friend. And he's told me that for many months, and he's just sick of me accusing him of infidelity when he works hard for me to be a stay-at-home mom. He never flirted with Sarah. He also said he's incredibly happy that I'm pregnant, and he wants to start a family, so I've been a priority and not Sarah. However, he mentioned that he and his brother had grown somewhat distant from Sarah in the past because she was immature and has blocked many people throughout their friendship that I wasn't aware of. She's not good at taking criticism and has fought with other players when they went paintballing or at the gym, and this is something Sarah likes to do, is brag about blocking people, hence why she blocked me. My husband mentioned other friends brought up issues in the past. Sarah simply blocked them. It's something Sarah simply does. Anyway, when he got home, we hardly spoke, and there was a lot of awkwardness. I signed myself up for therapy because he didn't want marital counseling yet. At night, we finally managed to talk some more, and I asked my husband if they blocked each other. He told me he hasn't checked but hasn't received anything from Sarah all day. I told him to block her. However, he doesn't believe in blocking anyone because he thinks it's immature and childish. He wants Sarah and me to salvage the friendship, and he wants to reach out to her so we can have a chance to talk about the fallout. His response about why he's so defensive about the friendship is not because of infidelity, but because he's disappointed that I ended a friendship that I held on to for so long, and that Sarah held me in high regard. He thinks sending memes isn't any proof of cheating, and he never flirted with her. He said he would heart her memes. He apologized for oversharing with her, and he thought she was just offering a shoulder to cry on. He said he's mainly sad about losing the other guy friends that Sarah brought to the table. They were all gamers and went to the gym together, and he's going to miss that if Sarah and I don't reconcile the friendship. My husband is also sad about all the drama this has caused and how Sarah's guy friends are going to badmouth me because I confronted her. He told me it's too soon for marital counseling for him. I didn't want to force that upon him. Right now, I feel like I'm in limbo and don't have the strength to just get up and leave him if that's the answer you're looking for. I will say I'm going to try to look at his phone myself when I have the energy, probably today, and confirm if anything is going on. It's easier said than done. A part of me believes him in that he doesn't like her, but their friendship still makes me feel weird. I didn't check his phone because I was going through a huge energy drain, and it wasn't good for my baby. I prioritized my well-being and kept things low-key. It was also terrifying for me, and I guess I'm not strong enough for that just yet. I probably will today now that my husband and I talked more. Update 2. Hey everyone, I wanted to share a positive update with you all. First off, I want to say thank you for all the advice and support I received. It really helped me gain perspective on the situation. I didn't log on Reddit for a while and saw my post blew up and made it to other subreddits. I wanted to address some things that I felt weren't accurate. No Reddit, I'm not trying to jump straight to divorce with my husband over their close friendship. I will always fight for my husband, and I know my husband will fight for me. No amount of Reddit comments will truly dictate that for me. We're not perfect like any other marriage, but I simply didn't trust the friendship dynamic anymore and didn't want Sarah to have access to my husband. When I said I let them hang out, I wasn't implying anything malicious, and my wording was off as English isn't my first language. I meant to say that I was overall okay with their friendship for a long time, even though sometimes I wasn't genuinely comfortable with it. If it truly makes me controlling, so be it. I also want to address some comments suggesting that I can't make a good judgment because I'm pregnant. I respectfully disagree. While pregnancy does bring its challenges, it hasn't clouded my ability to recognize what's best for my marriage and my well-being. I've taken time to reflect and make thoughtful decisions, and I'm confident that I'm acting in the best interest of my family. After everything happened, I decided to show my Reddit post to my husband. He read through it and was very apologetic. He acknowledged that he could see how his actions have been hurtful and that he didn't fully understand my concerns at first. We both recognized where we went wrong, and it opened up a much-needed conversation between us. I'm happy to say that we're going to start marital counseling together. It will be really helpful in improving our communication and rebuilding trust. We're both committed to making our marriage stronger, especially with the baby on the way. As for Sarah, she hasn't contacted either of us since everything went down. While it's sad to lose a longtime friend, I'm at peace with the decision. My focus is on my family now, and I'm grateful that my husband and I are working through this together. I do wish Sarah the best and hope she realizes that I don't judge her for her decision to block me, and just wished we didn't have to end a long-time friendship over this. Thank you again to everyone who reached out with advice and kind words. It's made a big difference in how I approach the situation, and I'm feeling much more positive about the future. My wife kissed another man on a night out. I wasn't bothered, and now she's causing issues over it. Bit of context. We've been together since we were 18. Never had a great sex life after the first year. Maybe once or twice a year at most since then, but at the minute it's going on 3 years. And although it bothers me, I love her and I love our kids, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I know plenty of friends in the same situation. Another bit of context is that I've always been mildly overweight, but always fit as I played a lot of sports until about 10 years ago, when I got really ill and a mixtures of meds and comfort eating made me balloon up to nearly 300 pounds. Well, 2 years ago, I decided to do something about. I'm now around 200, which at 6'2" is the lightest I've been as an adult, and I've actually enjoyed using weights and for the first time in my life have a bit of abs and some muscle. My wife having always been far hotter is pretty obvious. Insecure about the fact that for the first time we've been together, women are starting to look at me and message me on my baking pages on social media. For the record, I've never even looked at another woman in that way. On to the night in question. My wife went out with some friends, a mix of single and in a relationship. She looked stunning and I told her so. I even updated my phone home screen to that picture of her. One of the friends she was out with messaged me about 3 months, and the gist was, She knows I get no sex, my wife doesn't realize how lucky she is, and basically, do I want to hook up? I obviously instantly take a screenshot and send it to my wife. Around 4 a.m., my wife gets home and she wakes me up as she gets into bed. I'm half awake but can tell something is wrong and ask what the matter is. She doesn't say anything for a few seconds, and as I go to grab her hand, she pulls away. I ask if she wants me to get her a drink, and she says no. Then she just blurts it out and says, "I met a guy tonight, he kissed me." I didn't kiss back at first, then I did. Then for the next half hour we were dancing and constantly kissing. She kept saying sorry and begging me not to leave her. My honest first reaction was, so what, it's only kissing and dancing. I didn't say that. I just hugged her and tried to calm her down. An hour or so later, once I got the right words in my head, I said, "I know you feel really guilty, but please don't. I'm not going to leave you and break up our family over some kissing and dancing, and I don't love you any less than I did yesterday, and this isn't something that's going to grow and cause any resentment." More or less right on cue, my phone goes off, and it's that friend of hers with a picture and a video of what my wife was doing. This set my wife off again, but my feelings still haven't changed, and a month later that remains the case. In that month since then, my wife has accused me of not loving her because I didn't care. She's accused me of kissing other people and more, which is why I didn't care, as I was covering up my own indiscretions, and she's accused me of being gay multiple times, which doesn't make sense. She keeps asking me why I haven't initiated anything with her, even though in the past she's told me she hates being touched and not to ever try it on with her, which I have respected. She's basically projecting, and it's annoying me as it's putting a strain on us, which she is 100% causing. How do I get through to her that she needs to stop feeling guilty and just move on because I have, as it's not a big deal? I was genuinely more annoyed when she broke my baking bowl and tried to blame it on the cat, lol. Edit. Hi, all, just wanted to say thank you all so much for taking the time to respond to me. I really do appreciate it, and I'm overwhelmed you all took the time. I keep getting asked a few questions, so thought I'd address them here. Over the years, we have been to a few different couples counselors and sex therapists, the latest being last September for both. My wife always feels like she's being victimized by them, and we stop going. Nearly all have said, though, they think she is asexual, and two even saying she is displaying a lot of signs of being a closeted lesbian, which I have brought up to her before, and she is adamant she's not. On that note, I've had a lot of messages saying she wants to feel wanted, and for me to be more forward with her. This is not true. In all our sessions, she said she doesn't want me trying it on with her. She doesn't even want me to initiate hugs, and just bringing up sex makes her feel under pressure. She let me and our therapists know that if she ever sex without her initiating, it will be no more than pity sex. As for people saying I don't love her, I buy her flowers every Friday on the way home from work. I bake her favorite cookies or cupcakes every weekend. I send her voice notes of songs I'm listening to that remind me of her. I tell her I love her every day. I run her a bath every night. This isn't me showing off. This is how I was brought up, to show love for those saying I must have been brought up in an unloving home. People have said that I don't get jealous, I don't love her. If she told me she was having an emotional affair, she spent hours on the phone with someone else laughing and joking. She snuggled on a sofa eating chocolates and watching TV with someone, etc. I'd be devastated. A dance and a kiss isn't a big deal to me, and not even close to divorce. Second edit. Sorry for these. It's 7 a.m. in the morning here now, the day after I posted this. Been talking to my wife since 6 and said she's got a week to agree to go back to couples counseling, and she's got to stick it out this time and not just accuse them of taking sides and refuse to go back. She said no. She said they all bully her and make her out to be the bad guy. She said I went back on my word that I forgive her and won't resent her. I said this isn't about the kiss, it's about her reaction since the kiss, and that it feels like she's purposely trying to drive me away and make me leave her. She just got up and stormed out the room. She then got dressed and said she's going out until I go to work. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I made the post, and the short update is that we are getting divorced. I said in my last post I told her I wanted us to go back to couples counseling and sex therapy. She said no to both as we went before, and she felt bullied. She said at sex therapy that unless she initiates touching, not just sex, any touching like hugs or hand-holding, it will be against her will and will be forced pity affection from her. The sex therapist said that's very unreasonable, and that's why she felt bullied there. I tried to ask her a few questions too. Are you a lesbian or at least bi? Don't be stupid. Are you asexual? I'm not a teenager with a stupid label. What did he have I don't? Nothing, I just wanted to do it. Why don't you ever want to do that with me? Don't know what can I do to make you want to do that to me? Don't know. Do you want me to take the initiative and try it on with you more? Heck no. I'll tell you when I want it. Don't guess. So she refused the therapy and gave me no straight answers. She has also said I've gone back on my word about not letting the kiss split us up, because now it is. I said it's not the kiss, it's your behavior since then that has caused me to want to divorce. She said, as it's my decision to divorce, and it's all my fault, then I should be the one to tell out kids and she will have no part of it. That was hard. As soon as they were told, my wife left for her sister's, and in the 3 days since I haven't heard anything from her. I've tried speaking to her about the kids as they miss her, but she reads my messages and ignores me. A lot of people asked about the friend and why they still talk after she tried it on with me. How I understand it is my wife tried to get the friend group to cut the friend out, but they all pretty much refused, and so my wife just chose to ignore her in group settings. On the night in question, the friend approached my wife and told her if she didn't tell me, she would send me the video. So my wife didn't tell me because she felt guilty, but because she was forced. I've also spoke to a couple of other friends in the group and asked what's been going on. I'm not privy to. Apparently my wife was sexting her friend's boyfriend a couple of years ago. My wife has also been boasting about how she has me under the thumb and she gets away with giving me nothing, and I'm too scared to ask. The friend apparently saw me out shopping one day and decided I was now more fuckable and thought she'd try and exact some revenge on my wife. So she didn't really want me. I was just a pawn in this weird friend group's one of many internal beefs with each other, which I've found out about in the last few days. Basically, they all seem to hate each other and mess with each other's partners. I'll be honest now, and I feel incredibly guilty about it, but when she left, my body and soul seemed to take a massive sigh of relief. It was like a black cloud that was dripping eggshells on the floor for me to constantly avoid has gone. I feel terrible for feeling this way, but I feel like I'm my 6'2" height now, rather a brow-beaten 3 foot, who was scared to even say anything for fear of being told I'm wrong or insulted or ridiculed. It's like the blinkers have been taken off. Spent the day today baking with my kids, eating Easter eggs and watching cartoons, and I haven't stopped smiling all day. I haven't winced or broke out in a sweat worrying I'm about to be told off about being too noisy or watching the wrong thing on TV or there's a wrapper on the floor, etc. Thank you everyone for your support on my last post. Update. After my last update, a lot of people commented and messaged me to say that am I sure my kids are mine? This thought never entered my head until I read what people said. Last Thursday, I ordered a paternity test, sent it Friday, and awaiting the results. At this point, I don't really care, it won't change my love for them, but I'm terrified if they come back as not biologically mine, I'll lose them. I discussed this with my lawyer last week, who said if they aren't mine, it will be much harder to get even any kind of custody. I told him, if it comes to that, then I'll keep fighting until the end. Blood or no, they are my boys. Speaking of the boys, my soon-to-be ex has seen them a couple of times with her mum, who is genuinely a nice person, and the kids have been fine. I can't say the same about my baking equipment, though. She came into the house on Friday last week when she knew I was out and took a lot of it and purposely broke some bits she knew had sentimental value to me that came from my grandma and my mum. I can't prove she did anything, and she brought the stuff back on Sunday and said she just borrowed the items. But I love baking, and she is slowly ruining it for me. I'd already deleted my Instagram page because she was insecure about the women who followed me, and this time she must have remembered I was making a cake for my niece's birthday and tried to sabotage it. I've made notes and screenshots of everything. As a lot of you rightly predicted, she had also been cheating on me a lot, although no evidence of it being physical yet from what I can tell. Her friend, who is also in this WhatsApp group, where women basically just post nudes and men comment. I still need to get the details of this group so I can finally get to see some boobs again, lol. Sent me a lot more screenshots of photos she's taken, all round our house, blatantly her bedroom in some of them, and one even stood against my car. Also, a few of these friends are single, and when they hook up with someone, my wife will add the guy on Facebook and has basically been offering herself to them. One of the friends messaged one of the guys who still had the chats in his Facebook DMs and sent the friend a load of screenshots to send to me. All in all, I must have over 100 screenshots of stuff she's been saying and sending to people, and all of that is within the last couple of years, so it probably goes on further. As for the divorce, still in the early stages. One day I want to fight, the next I just want to give her everything, materially, not the kids, and walk away and start again so I can get this finished and done. I have moved back to my hometown and given my ex the house. I know people won't be happy with that, but I just wanted a clean break and no ties to her or that city. The kids are with me and see their mom at weekends, provided I make the 5-hour round trip to drop them off on a Saturday morning and then make the same trip Sunday afternoon to pick them up. I know, again, people will say I'm doing what she wants, but if it makes my kids happy, it makes me happy. She seems okay with this arrangement, although she has flaked twice already. Once the kids say they no longer want to go, I won't take them. The divorce is still going through, but won't be done for a few more months yet, according to my lawyer. I'm baking a lot more now and loving it. Thank you everyone who has thought about me. You are all so great. Update 3. My ex messaged me yesterday saying she no longer wants to see our 2 kids and is happy to give them away in our divorce. How to navigate mixed emotions of this. I posted on here a few months ago, if you want to look at my profile, read them about my wife kissing another man on a night out despite not having had sex with me for years. I wasn't bothered and was willing to ignore it and carry on, but she kept making issues over it, and eventually we split up. I moved back to my home city about 2 hours away, and the kids came with me. My ex-wife said it was too far for her to travel to have them at weekends, so every Saturday morning, I've been driving them up to her and then picking them back up Sunday evening so they got to see their mom. We'd make fun trips out of it and would take snacks, play audiobooks, have sing-alongs, etc., but I'd noticed they always seemed happier to be picked up than taken there. I just always assumed it was because all their stuff in their main home was with me. My ex has started to cancel these weekends a bit recently. 3 of the last 5 she's canceled. She started to say things like, "They don't like me anyway, and you've poisoned them," which is not true. I have never said a bad about their mom to them or in front of them, and never would. Plus, I make 2 4-hour round trips every weekend so she can see them and they can see her. I'll be honest, every Saturday after I drop them off, I cry all the way home. I miss them so much. They are my little best mates. Every night after dinner, we will all do our chores and do a different activity. Sometimes it's a walk in the woods behind my house, or we bake or have movie nights or read books together. I'm quite good with my hands and love making and fixing things, whether it's baking, cooking, DIY, or car repairs. And they have started to take an interest too, so we have a couple of projects on the go, like building a kind of Wendy house for them, but it will have games, consoles, a fridge for their drinks and snacks, etc. Plus, we are also building a couple of petrol go-karts from scratch for them to race at a nearby track when they are done, which they are designing themselves and we are building together. Basically, my life is taken up with them in the week, and then at the weekends I feel like a lost zombie until it's time to go get them. Then yesterday I received a short text from her saying she no longer wants to see them. All they do is ask for me anyway. They don't have fun there, and they basically get in the way. I was absolutely heartbroken for my boys and I rang her straight away. I'll be honest, I started crying as I felt so bad for them, and she genuinely acted like I was annoying her for wanting to get to the bottom of it. She then said, "Sounds like you don't want them either and are just trying to palm them off at the weekends," and hung up on me. I don't even know how I'm going to tell them this. Do I just say she's canceled for a few weeks and see how it goes? Do I tell them the truth? How do I say it in a way that kids will understand and won't absolutely crush them? Then I've got the conflicted, selfish emotion of pure joy that I'll have the whole weekends with them. It's so selfish of me, I know, as they are going to be sad while I'm happy. Has anyone been in a similar situation from my side or the kids' side? How do I handle this? Update 4. Quick recap. Split up with my wife a few months ago after she cheated on me on a night out. I was willing to stay, but she got upset. I wasn't more upset, and I had enough and left. I moved 2 hours away to my hometown and let her have the house. Our 2 sons came with me. I drive them to and from her house every weekend to see them, but she started canceling and then one day texted me saying she no longer wants to see them and is happy to give them up in the divorce. So as far as her giving up her rights as parent, it's a lot harder than I thought. Both my lawyer and hers have told me that it's hard to do this in the UK, and neither of them have seen a judge allow it, unless there is a physical or sexual chance of harm to the children. However, they have both also said they've never presented a case like this to a judge where both parties agree to it fully. They've drafted an agreement where we both agree to my ex-wife no longer have responsibilities towards my children, including financially. Let's see what happens with that, just waiting now to get a court date, but they said that can be months away. On to the hardest part, telling my kids. I'll be honest, I haven't. The first couple of weeks I just said Mum had canceled again when they asked, and the eldest in particular seemed pretty relieved at this both times, and last weekend they didn't even ask. It's been over a month now since they've seen her. The eldest has also told me that he doesn't like going there anyway, as all she does is sleep and shout. He also told me the other day he prefers his new house, and he feels more relaxed. I feel terrible, as I was obviously missing signs before that he wasn't fully happy when we were together as a family. At least he's more comfortable now. I had a bit of a wobble last night with my youngest, though. He was watching Land Before Time, and then he started saying he misses his mum and then started crying. It was full-blown tears and breaking down, and it was awful to see. While I was holding him, I started crying, but I made sure he couldn't see. I didn't say anything bad about his mum or tell him she doesn't want to see him anymore. I just hugged him and stroked his hair and told him I'll always be here for him, and he can always come to me if he's upset, happy, or just wants to be silly, and I'll never push him away. Once they were in bed, I was in pieces, blaming myself for leaving their mum, questioning why I couldn't be stronger and live with it for a few more years until they were adults. It was me who left. It's me who's made them drive up and down the country every weekend, unsettled them, uprooted their lives. At 2 a.m. this morning, I drafted a text to my wife asking her to get back together and to be a mum again. Luckily, I didn't send it. I had about 3 hours sleep but feel better this morning. None of her family have been in touch either to try and maintain a relationship with the boys. It's horrible, to be honest, but they are the ones missing out on these two amazing kids. One of her cousins messages me every so often, but she asks more about me than kids, so that either feels like ulterior motive or a trap which I'm not falling into. As for my divorce, MG lawyer has said it should hopefully be finalized before Christmas. Not that it'll make much difference. I don't wear my ring, and she has a new 20-year-old boyfriend, not the guy she cheated with. Will be nice, though, to finally be able to say ex-wife and it be official.